Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast brought by Closers.io, where we explore the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Milan Kohut, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced, the lessons learned, and the strategies fueling future growth. Today, I'm absolutely thrilled to be joined by Katherine Farris, the founder and CEO of Marketex, a digital marketing agency she's led since 2009. She specializes in blending marketing strategy with technology and automation for professional service businesses and small teams, powering their sales funnels through the proprietary Marketex engine system. With over 25 years in tech, marketing, and operations, including past roles as a bank vice president and community college instructor, Katherine holds certifications as a key marketing automation expert and digital marketer specialist in content, email, and social media. With that being said, Katherine, let me officially welcome you to Founders Future.
Thank you. Happy to be here. I feel like I can't say anything about myself now. You covered it all.
I'm glad you liked the introduction. I tried my best, as I always do. Now,
Well done.
Katherine, there's many things that we want to cover in a pretty short amount of time. So we're not going to waste any time. We're going to jump right into it. What I love to do with every single one of my guests is a bit of traveling back in time. So before you even had this company, this agency, what were you doing before? And then eventually, what was the motivation for starting the business?
Mm. Yeah, so I was full-time in banking. I actually started as a part-time bank teller back in college, worked my way up, and before the age of 30, I was a vice president, commercial lender, branch manager, the whole nine yards. So I worked my way up through the front of the house within banking, community banking, that is. I loved working with local people. I loved helping small businesses. I did not always love the product pushing, if you will. Every company needs to make money, and that was basically what it was in banking, is that we got into this place, especially as a manager, as a lender, where you started having to actually cold call and knock on doors. And so that started to go down a road that I didn't love. I've always loved technology. After sort of my first associate's degree, I hit it off so well with my professors that after I finished my bachelor's and stuff, they actually invited me back to teach classes. So I know in the intro you mentioned I taught community college classes, and those were computer classes. And so those two things started to blend. I actually would get bank clients, business clients that would bring in their laptop to me and be like, "Hey, you're really good with computers. Can you help me with this?" And I like to say one day somebody brings me this in, and what they have on their screen is Mailchimp. And that was like my first introduction to digital marketing. I was like, I have no idea what this is, but give me a few seconds. I started clicking around, I figured it out, and we sent a newsletter from my banking office. Like,
Oh, wow. Just saying yes and figuring it out later. That's the
yeah,
mentality here.
exactly. And that wasn't even, I hadn't even started my business yet. But this was that aha moment of, I think there's something out there that I know nothing
Mm.
about yet, but I'm very interested in. And it blended this sort of technology, creativity, organization, all the stuff that I felt like I was pretty darn good at. And so I started down this road of figuring out what digital marketing was. In 2009, in Maine, of all states, we were a little behind the curve. So I was doing a lot of online research and just stumbling along the way. Every client I got had new requests, and I just figured them out.
I love
So
this.
that's
Now,
that's
you've been in the agency world for many years at this, so I'm pretty sure there was a lot of pivoting and adjusting along the way. But let's talk about where this journey got you overall and what the business really looks like today. In this part of the podcast, what I really want to do is get the listeners close to, first of all, who is it exactly that you're trying to help right now with your agency? But also, what are the core services or the core offerings that you have in place for your clients? So tell us all about it.
Yeah, sure. So yes, there's been lots of pivoting, there's been lots of changes, lots of relooking. I've changed business names three times in 16 years, as well as branding and logo and all that stuff. And a lot of that was just I would get an inquiry and I'd be like, wow, that's so far off of what we do. There must be something wrong with the branding or the business name, right? And that was those aha moments. And so we finally landed on Marketex. And I feel like it's that perfect blend of marketing and technology, which is exactly what we do. We're really focused on marketing automation, and that has only become stronger in the last 18 months. We've always incorporated marketing automation into what we do, but it's really that side of the business is growing leaps and bounds. And now even incorporating the AI pieces into that, of course, because you can't have a conversation about marketing these days and online business running without talking about AI. So we're no
I
exception.
love
That
that.
has been 100% what we do. And the people that we work with are basically professional service providers. So, consultants, coaches, lawyers, CPAs, all of your professional services. We don't dabble too much in e commerce. I have helped some friends and some local businesses that have reached out to me for sure, even my mother. But for the most part, we stay a little bit away from the e commerce side. It's not our sweet spot. Yeah.
But hold
So,
on, did you really say no to your mom?
no, I did help my mom, but I say she's in
Okay, okay,
e-commerce
good.
or she's, yeah, no.
Yeah, so mom
She's
is
one
going to
of
be
those
the
people that
exception
I
here,
will
but
help.
anybody else? No. Okay, I got you.
Exactly.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now let me ask you this though, because I'm coming from a marketing background myself. That's what I've been doing for the last decade, and I also had a chance to speak with many people in the industry. And I know for a fact that it really takes a long time for people in marketing to really niche down and get some clarity in terms of, okay, who is it that I really want to work with? So
Mhm.
even with the thought process of you like focusing on the service providers like consultants, coaches, I would assume there's also something that you really love, something more specific when it comes to several different industries. So if you can maybe provide a little bit more clarity in terms of what this process really looks like for you, making that decision, whether you're going to end up working with somebody or not.
Yeah, so the consultant is probably the perfect example for us because they tend to fall into multiple buckets. They usually have a book, they usually have a speaking topic. And I really love it when they come to us because there's so much I can do with that content, right? I can take their speaking topic and turn it into an online course and start to build a community around it. We can use their book and break it up into a year's worth of content, just content marketing alone. There's just so much we can do around that. So that definitely gets me excited working with consultants. And I think that's where you could get a lawyer that does the same thing that also has a book and has a speaking topic. And you can get, so that's where the service provider overall comes in. But I do like the service provider that has the thought leadership behind them, that piece that
Yeah.
they really want to take and make bigger.
Yeah. Now, a lot of people in this industry are focusing on a month-to-month retainers, just working with the client as long as they're happy. But there's
Mhm.
also a lot of people who are trying to create something much more transformational. For example, I'm going to be working with you for the next 4 or 6 months. We're going to do this, and that's it. I'm going to set you up for success. And you're just going to be able to work with those strategies in the future yourself. I'm curious, how how did this evolve when it comes to your agency specifically? And what do majority of your clients really go through when it comes to the
Yeah.
process?
A lot of times when people reach out to us, it's for a specific project. My website needs revamping. I need to build an online course. I want to kick off a community or launch a program. And that is often a starting point, those types of things. But majority of our clients do end up becoming retainer clients. We've had clients that have been on retainer for over 10 years. Actually,
Wow.
yeah, I think our longest standing client right now started with us in 2013. So we do have very long standing relationships. We have worked with people right through retirement and selling their business. And that's one of the reasons we don't have clients longer is because they actually get out of the industry. So that's not uncommon for us. It's probably less common for us to have someone who we just do a website and walk away. We have a few
Mhm.
of them, but I would say more often than not, clients stay with us for a long time. And it's funny because I think last year we were putting together one of these like year in review documents of how many new clients we did and how many launches. And I was like, in one way, these numbers almost aren't very impressive because we work with our clients for so long that it's just this ongoing relationships. It's okay, we brought in 10 new clients this year, but we still had the 50 that we've been working with for 5 years. And so it's just a little bit different than I think some agencies when they look at their numbers.
It is. And this also begs the question. I'm very curious about what you're going to say, but what we typically do on a podcast is really look into the back end of the business.
Mm.
And because we know for everybody in business, having a good client acquisition system in place, it's the key, right? As it is for your clients, it is also for you. So I'm curious, what is happening on the front of marketing for yourself, or what you do specifically to generate leads for yourself and make all of this happen, have the ability to onboard new clients into your services and keep changing lives?
Yeah. And that has been an evolution as well over 16 years. So when I first started, in-person networking was the key. That was the clincher. Getting really face to face with people. And it's hard to say whether that was required because I was a brand new business or if it was just that tech hadn't really caught up enough to make other things work better. But I did a lot of social media in the beginning. I did a lot of just connecting with people, conversations both online and offline, and networking was way more productive in person at that time than online was. Then, as things started to progress, referrals, of course, bring in over half of our business. That is the biggest thing. Once you get into that sort of growth stage, I think referrals are key. We also had to get comfortable asking for the testimonials, asking for the referrals, asking for those things. And that continued to bring stuff in. And I will say, for majority of our clientele, like the referral fees and the finder's fees actually are not as enticing as I would like them to be. I would love that to be a driver and have that bring in even more referrals, but they're always just like, I'll refer you if I love you and if I find the right person. So I haven't probably nailed the right formula to get them rewarded for that kind of thing, but we do offer that stuff and I don't find that moving the needle a whole lot. And then recently, I would say podcasts. This has been a great driver of getting the word out, taking this to the next level. I myself have been growing my YouTube channel, so it's a really nice blend of where I'm putting my effort in and my energy in content creation wise, and being able to add this to the mix, being able to let people get to know me and then go see these tutorials that I'm creating on the different products that we use and platforms that we use.
Absolutely. Now, talking about all of these things that are more on the side of organic and especially referrals and the word of mouth, like we know that this is the best kind of lead that you can get. It's quite easy to close somebody if you basically let your results speak for you. But at the same time, there is a lot of frustration when it comes to the inconsistency of those sources.
Mm.
So I'm curious, have you dabbled into paid ads to maybe create
Oh, of
something more
course.
predictable? Yeah. What is your
Yes.
experience with that?
Yeah. So paid ads, we do a little bit of them. I would say I rely on them more for awareness marketing, for growing our email list, for getting people into the fold. I don't expect to sell a website redesign from a paid ad, at least in my space and with what I'm doing. What I have found is that for paid ads, dollar for dollar cost wise, I tend to lean toward Facebook or Meta, which will also go on Instagram. I have more recently been doing a lot more, again, growing my YouTube channel. So I'm also dabbling in some YouTube paid promotions, which would also be Google. So I have definitely, gone into those realms. Majority of my clients are going to be on LinkedIn. I have never had great success with LinkedIn ads. Unfortunately, I wish I could say different because most of my clients want to run LinkedIn ads too. Unfortunately, they haven't been very productive from what I've been able to tell. So LinkedIn is definitely more organic for me. I get way more going out and spending 30 minutes commenting on other people's posts as far as attention and interest than I do giving them money for ads. And the ad spend requirements are higher on LinkedIn. So just balancing those difference between the requirements and what's actually driving the needle and moving things in the right direction.
Yeah, I would say LinkedIn ads is definitely not a good idea, especially for the majority of your clients who are just trying to build a coaching and consulting business. LinkedIn sucks when it comes to ads. That's true.
Okay, so I'm not the only one that thinks that.
No, you're absolutely right. To be honest, whenever I hear somebody trying to run LinkedIn ads, why? Like, why
Yeah.
would you do
Well,
that?
it sounds so logical. Like all the professionals are on there. That's where my
Yes.
audience is. And everybody says you're supposed to be where your audience is. You're supposed to be
Mm.
advertising where your audience is. But it feels like the one exception to me.
Yeah, it's true though. But also looking at where we got as a society and how we leverage social media, how we use it on a day-to-day basis. Do you feel like your clientele or the clients that you have and they're looking for their prospects that those people wouldn't be on Meta or anywhere else? Why would they be only on LinkedIn, right? Like we
Yeah.
use all of the socials today. So if you're
True.
thinking about whether that person is spending their time there, oh yes, 100% they are.
True. Yeah. And I do have a lot. I have a lot of clients that are like, "Oh no, my clients aren't on Facebook anymore. They don't." And I'm like,
Sure.
I guarantee you that's not true.
Yeah, that's exactly my reaction every
Just give
single
me a
time.
month. Yeah, just
Yeah.
give me a month and let's see how many leads we bring in.
Exactly, exactly. I love this, Catherine. I feel like we could definitely dive deeper into this. That would be funny. But there's something else that I want to talk about. With you mentioning all of those activities coming from the world of organic, but also trying
Mhm.
some ads, this takes a lot. So I'm also curious whether you have already built out your internal teams throughout the years, if you have people working on the side of marketing, maybe sales, maybe possibly other departments. How does that really work when it comes to your agency?
Yeah. Again, it's an evolution, but I will say, so I actually, when I started this business, I was running it moonlighting. I was still in banking when I first started. I didn't go full time in this business until 2013, actually. And I had already brought on contractors before I went full time because of that transition pain points. I had already brought people in to do some of the stuff. Some of the first people I hired were actually copywriters because I am terrible at spelling and grammar. So first people I brought in were copywriters. Actually, one of them was a teller for me at the bank who
Oh,
used to be a
wow.
school teacher. And I was like, hey, you want an evening job?
Wow.
It worked out brilliantly. And so from there, I just started adding the different needs that I had. And so currently we're a team of five. We have been larger in the past. Some of that, again, AI has impacted, made us more efficient. We've actually been able to streamline a little bit in the last, say, 18 months. But currently, yes, I have an internal marketing person. I have an internal video editor. And then there are actually four of us. So I take that back. There's six people altogether. So there's four of us that really deliver client content. Some people are a little more all encompassing, jack of all trades. We have a specific social media person. The software that we work most in is HighLevel or Go HighLevel, and we're all pretty well versed in that. Some of us have a little specialties and expertise in different things in there too. So we meet every single week and we discuss every single client and all the projects that are going on, and we just divvy things up as needed. We have an online project management system to keep track of it all. And yeah, it's that is indispensable, by the way, online project management.
Very true,
Mhm.
true. What a beautiful operation that you're running. I'm very curious, like considering because it seems like over the years you really set great fundamentals for the company to operate well, but also have the ability to impact more companies, grow the business scale. So in terms of doing that, I'm wondering if this is the vision for the company going forward. Are you trying to grow the business? What is really getting you excited for the next year? What are the biggest goals, targets, revenue, milestones?
Yeah, definitely growth on the horizon. No doubt about that. The focus is actually so at the end of 2024, around December of 2024, and I'll back up just a little bit here. So in 2024 is when we really started digging into the HighLevel platform. And it was actually out of client requests. I had several clients come to us and say, hey, have you heard about this? And I was like, I've heard about it, but I don't love those all in one systems. Not really sure I can get behind it. And then I had one client who was very tech savvy that said, "No, we're doing this. I need your help. We're migrating everything." And I was like, "All right, I'll dive in. I'll go ahead first." And so we got in there and I really did fall in love with it. I was like, "Okay, this is awesome. I was wrong. I'll open mouth, insert foot, whatever." And so we migrated all of our stuff. And then I had another client come to me. Same thing happened. Have you heard of HighLevel? Yep. Just migrated somebody else. Okay, we're moving. Great. Let's do it. I think in November, I had three clients come to me. Have you heard of HighLevel? I said, okay, give me a minute. So, one of the nice things about HighLevel is they allow you to white label if you're not aware. And so you can actually build out your own marketing systems on the back end. So it's like all the stuff that we had built for every client and every system out there, ConvertKit, Keep, HubSpot. We had variations of our gatekeeper process for calendaring and our selective opt-out process. Like we had built them in 100 different systems in different ways. And now I was like, oh my gosh, we could build it once, copy it, and put it in everybody's account that we work with. This would be amazing. So that's what we did. We started our white label, we call it Marketect's Engine. And so we have everything pre built when clients sign up with us. And that's what we launched basically in December. We did a founders deal in January for all of our current clients that were asking for it. went brilliantly, basically broke even first month, couldn't ask for better, and have been moving forward with it from there. And so that's been part of building my YouTube channel, has been high level tutorials and teaching people like what we're building and how we're doing it and all that type of thing. So that's a big driver for 2025 and even bigger for 2026 is we really want to grow that side of this, being able to reshare our systems, being able to build out that back end for people, not just the service side anymore. And hey, we'll come in and work in whatever system you have, but really setting people up with this system that we know works. So I'm excited about that because it's just so much easier for us.
And it's a brilliant offer. If you
Yeah.
look at it from the marketing perspective, ooh, yeah,
Yes, it
it is
is. It
sexy.
is.
Yeah.
It's awesome. So are you familiar with High Level?
Yeah, absolutely. I do have a love-hate relationship with Go High Level, but
Okay. All
but
right.
I
Fair
am
enough.
very familiar. Yeah,
Okay. And I can see that. And I do think there's been little things we've run into, but you're always going to. Nothing's ever going to be 100% perfect. I,
absolutely.
I think the big kicker for me was when I had a client that was paying $1,700 a month for HubSpot. They moved to High Level at $300 a month and got more services. I'm like, go ahead, complain about something because it was just like it's doing better. I understand there could be a little couple things you want it to do differently, but it's still doing more than you were getting before. I haven't had one person yet that hasn't saved money. And maybe that's not the end all be all for everybody, but it's been a winner so far for us, for sure.
Yeah, to be honest, I feel like they've done a great job at the evolution that we can see, especially in the past 12 months. Because what it used to be was the integrations and implementing several different of your own systems. It wasn't really working that well, but now it's getting better and better every single month. Okay, I'm gonna say that. Yeah, maybe it has been a love-hate relationship for me, but it's getting better. So I
Good. All
completely
right.
get
So
you.
maybe I just got in at the right time, right? I
Yes.
missed all the bumps. Maybe that's what it is.
Absolutely. Beautiful. Catherine, let me ask you this. Obviously, we're talking about a lot of exciting stuff. The company is doing well. You have a new offer that you're proud of. This is gonna be a game changer for a lot of people that you work with. Looking at the future and the goals and the scale that you want to see for the company, out of everything, what would you say is going to be the biggest challenge to make it happen?
Actually, I was applying for grants yesterday for the biggest challenge, and that is training. The continuous training that we need to do on automation and AI with the pace that it's moving is hard to keep a team of five up to date constantly. And I can't be the only one that knows the ins and outs of all this, right? So deciding who's going to get training on what and how much time we're going to put into training on different programs, crossing our fingers that they're still applicable in 6 months. That is probably the biggest difficulty going forward. And then another sort of in the similar vein, but aspect of that is that all of this automation and AI is making us more efficient, which means we can do things faster, but we're also have to pay for all these programs. So if you're on a retainer basis, depending on how you structure those, structuring them hourly almost doesn't make sense anymore because your hours have been reduced because of automation and AI, but you're paying for the automation and AI on the other end. So you're getting hit from both sides as an agency owner. And so there's this kind of contemplation going forward about how I'm going to balance all this stuff out heading into 2026. And I'm still figuring it out. Like I said, I was applying for grants yesterday. This would be one way to get the team trained. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I appreciate the self-awareness here and also you being transparent. This is what is beautiful to me. Even talking with somebody who's been in the business for almost 2 decades, you're
Mm,
never going to be in a position where you can just sit down and be like, yeah, I have it all figured out. Like it
no,
doesn't really work like that.
no, I
It's
didn't
not
pick
what
that kind of an
entrepreneurship looks
industry.
like. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Far from it. Far from it. Catherine, at this point, let me just say thank you for taking the time, sharing your story with me and with the audience. It has been a great conversation. I really appreciate your time. And if anybody from the listeners would like to get in touch with you, perhaps even work with you, how to go about it.
Yeah, so marketex.com is our website. You're going to find everything you need to know there. And like I said, I am building up my YouTube channel. So if anybody is curious about marketing automation, I would love to have you go check out what we're doing there too. And that's just Marketex on YouTube.
Marketects. Beautiful. Awesome. Catherine, thank you again. It was a pleasure to have you.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Now, to our listeners, if today's conversation inspired you as well, make sure to subscribe to Founders Future on your favorite platform. And also, if you're a business owner, more specifically a coach, consultant, or an agency, and you're trying to scale the business and really enhance both your sales and marketing efforts, also visit closers.io, get in touch with our team, and discover how exactly we scaled our company from 0 to over 30 million per year in less than 3 years. Until then, keep on crushing it, and I'll see you on the next one.